Because before I read you some quotes, I want to also read you why I'm saying this to you. Remember when I brought up the 2024 U.S. Olympic roster, how she was left off of that, and how stupid that was for Team USA women's basketball to leave her off? Remember I said that? They said this is where they're going now. Ms. Clark's targeting may reflect a culture of disparate treatment, and the evidence provides reasonable cause for a federal probe into potential civil rights violations.
Caitlin Clark's been getting bounced around the WNBA like she accidentally wandered into a demolition derby, and Stephen A. Smith has officially gone nuclear. After watching her absorb more contact than a crash test dummy, he didn't just rant, he preached. Called it a civil rights situation in sneakers, and meant every syllable. This wasn't hoops, it was full contact chaos with a scoreboard. And Stephen A.? He's pacing, shouting, gesturing like he's filibustering for her safety. It's loud, it's wild, it's vintage Stephen A., only spicier, sharper, and somehow even more hilarious.
I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark, the Department of Justice, and quite possibly the President of the United States himself.
Let's be clear. Stephen A. Smith just watched Caitlin Clark survive a WNBA game that looked more like a street fight with a scoreboard and said, "Nope, I want subpoenas. I want Cheryl Swoops sworn in. Somebody hand me a gavel. This is now Law and Order, WNBA Victims Unit." Because what do you call it when the league's brightest star is getting hacked, hip-checked, smacked, and eye-gouged like she accidentally wandered into a Mortal Kombat tournament? Stephen A. isn't just mad, he's building a case, and the closing argument is pure fire.
And I feel bad because it seems like the sisters are bullying the little girls, or the older players are bullying the younger girls. I don't want to make it about race because I seen white girls bullying the young white girls. I seen the black girls bullying the young white girls.
Sure, you can nitpick Caitlin Clark's numbers all day. Usage rate, field goal percentage, plus minus, PER, RPM, CPR, FBI, CIA. Stack every acronym like you're building a government file. But that's missing the forest for the stats sheet. The truth? The WNBA was handed a golden ticket to mainstream relevance, their Michael Jordan moment, wrapped in a bow. And instead of protecting it, they tossed her to the goon squad like a chew toy, turning a generational opportunity into a demolition derby.
Let me read to y'all the opening couple of graphs, because I want you to hear the impact of this. This is serious. This is serious. And I could say it with my team here, having the footage and the receipts to back me up. I could be in that I told you so mode. I really, really could. But I ain't going to do that because I'm in a good mood. I'm going to be chill. But I could be saying.
And Stephen A., bless his dramatic soul, is on national TV acting like this is the Selma March in high tops. He's got forehead veins working overtime, looking like the Wi-Fi just crashed mid-broadcast. Because he knows the stakes. If the WNBA drops this ball, they're headed right back to airing on channel Who Cares at 2:15 a.m., wedged between Matlock reruns and late-night infomercials for waterproof socks. This isn't just a bad look. It's a one-way ticket back to irrelevance.
Caitlin Clark has done for the women's NBA what Michael Jordan once did for the NBA. Made it more valuable, watchable, and marketable. Instead of protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of...
And yes, somewhere in a smoky group chat, a WNBA player is probably typing, "She gotta earn her respect," right before setting a screen hard enough to register on the Richter scale. Because in today's league, earning respect apparently translates to endure 4 quarters of full contact demolition derby. Forget skill. This is survival of the least concussed.
Treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. That approach could turn into legal liability for the WNBA. Okay, well, get this. Get this. We're watching this play out. Caitlin Clark's been hurt. We're watching in front of our very eyes how differently these teams are treating the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark on the court. I mean, let's just be real. It's been much different.
Let's break this down. You've got a rookie pulling ratings the WNBA hasn't sniffed since the league was kept alive by hope, duct tape, and a 1990s fax machine. She's packing arenas, bringing in new fans, creating headlines, and generating real buzz. And what's the thank you gift? A poke to the eye, a trip from behind, a full-on body slam, and, because irony loves company, she's the one hit with the technical foul. Makes perfect sense, right? In some alternate timeline, Dennis Rodman is watching this and going, even I had limits. But fear not, because Stephen A. Smith has strapped on his superhero cape for justice. He's calling it exactly what it is. And the internet, oh boy, is having a field day. The replies are classics. She flops. She needs to toughen up. And what about all the other players who suffered? Ah, yes, the victimhood Olympics, where empathy is rationed out like it's in short supply. It's the Hunger Games of hardship, except here, the grand prize is watching someone else get leveled and proudly declaring, well, I had it worse, so stop whining. The WNBA was handed a golden goose, and instead of nurturing it, they're breaking out the hot sauce and fryer.
WNBA, y'all are in trouble. I told y'all didn't want to protect my precious CC. Now y'all getting hit with a civil lawsuit for targeting. You hear me? And then this stuff is documented. That don't even make no sense from players just speaking freely, thinking that they won't have no consequences. That means somebody had them on the payroll. You know what I'm saying? She done had 4 injuries within like a month and a half. Disgusting.
And spare us the tired, physicality is part of the game lecture. We've all seen real physicality. Playoff basketball, elbows in the paint, hard but clean fouls. This question mark, this is something else entirely. It's the WNBA's unofficial new handbook. If she's popular, make her regret it. Meanwhile, somewhere on a podcast nobody requested, a player is probably saying, people only like her because she's white. Ah, yes. What a brilliant way to erase years of work, pressure, and discipline, boiling it all down into a Netflix special titled White Girl Dribbles Must Be a Conspiracy. Jealousy in sports is nothing new, but this is a different breed. This isn't, I'm going to outplay you. This is, I'm going to suplex you mid-drive and then pout when I don't get a shoe deal. We've officially entered the WWE era of basketball, minus the budget, the pyrotechnics, and the rock screaming. If you smell. Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark isn't the problem. The problem is, she walked in with cameras, fans, and expectations, and in doing so, she exposed the league's biggest insecurity. Nobody else has that kind of gravitational pull. And instead of meeting the moment, some players chose to reenact Mortal Kombat on her knees. And the refs, please. The officiating has all the consistency of a toddler's bedtime. Sometimes it happens on time, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it ends with a meltdown. Calls aren't being missed. They're being avoided, like the league's allergic to protecting its most marketable player.
Remember I talked about people being jealous? The Cheryl Swoops of the world and others. Remember I pointed that stuff out? Remember I talked about the rough housing? Remember I talked about all of that? Let me read further. This would mirror the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission investigation into the Erica Hamby's pregnancy discrimination claims against the WNBA and her team. Congress and labor and justice departments would be justified in examining the facts. At Harvard and Columbia, during anti-Semitic protests, institutional leaders played down threats and failed to protect.
One play, she's hammered like a discount nail at Home Depot, no whistle. Next play, she looks at someone funny, TECHNICAL. Are we even pretending anymore? We're watching referees who act like they got their training from UFC judges. Meanwhile, ESPN is over here trying to spin this like she's learning the ropes. Oh, really? Learning the ropes? The woman's out here getting clotheslined like it's Monday Night Raw, and you're acting like this is some quirky rite of passage? Stephen A. wasn't having it. You could feel the Brooklyn leaving his body and being replaced by pure righteous fury. The kind of fury that usually follows bad Knicks trades or Skip Bayless opening his mouth. He called it for what it was, a sabotage. Not even a clever one. A clumsy, obvious, jealous little sabotage that's turning the WNBA into a meme before it ever became mainstream. And the sad part? Caitlin Clark just keeps playing through it. She's not whining, not throwing tantrums, just hooping. And hooping well, by the way. Better than half the league's bitter benchwarmers who think defense means attempt homicide. And yet, it's not enough. Because apparently, to some, she didn't earn it. Oh yes, the sacred, vague, moving goalpost definition of earning it, which in this context translates to, we just don't like that people like you.
In the league, who was top 4 in MVP voting last year, the assist leader last year, a galvanizing talent that has done wonders for the NBA. If she is seen to be physically getting abused on a basketball court in a way that is such a clear and flagrant discrepancy compared to what happens to others, that man is not going.
You could drop Caitlin Clark into the middle of a volcano, have her hit a three-pointer while being dive tackled by a pterodactyl, and someone would still say, she needs to prove herself more. It's become comedy, unintentional, dark, slapstick comedy, like watching someone fall downstairs while screaming, I'm a professional. Let's be honest. This whole situation is what happens when ego meets insecurity in a back alley and they decide to jump the future of women's basketball. The problem isn't just the fouls, it's the silence. Where's the outcry? Where are the statements? Oh, that's right. They're too busy tweeting cryptic messages about protecting the game, while simultaneously launching themselves at the only player keeping the league relevant. And the league office? Radio silence. Like they're hoping if they just ignore the concussion protocol violations, they'll evaporate into the void. Imagine if LeBron was treated like this his rookie year. You think the NBA would have just shrugged and gone, well, the other guys are mad. Let them body slam him. They would have bubble wrapped him and escorted him to the court on a golden chariot. But Caitlin? Nah. Let her fend for herself. She's just a rookie. She can take it. She's tough, right? Oh, she's tough. No doubt. You have to be, to play with a target on your back, night after night, while being blamed for everything from racial tensions to player pay disparity to the global water shortage.
The kind of stuff that's happening and has been happening over the last few months is because of Caitlin Clark. I got some of the stats in front of me to validate it. Because you see, I bring receipts. And I'll get to why I'm really pissed off in a few minutes. WNBA Draft 2024 drew 2.446 million viewers to ESPN on Monday night, making it the most watched draft in WNBA history. Who's the number 1 overall pick? Huh, Aaron? Who's the number 1 overall pick? Say it loud.
You'd think Caitlin Clark was personally responsible for every social injustice of the last century. Meanwhile, all she's guilty of is hitting open threes, and somehow that earns her a smack in the face. Stephen A. isn't just mad, he's disappointed. You can hear it in his voice, that veteran frustration of watching yet another athlete get fed through the grinder of jealousy and bad leadership. Because let's be real, this isn't competition. This is petty revenge with a basketball as a prop. Yes, Caitlin gets the coverage. Yes, she's got the endorsement deals. Yes, she's the headline. But here's the plot twist. That spotlight could have been shared. It could have elevated the entire league. Instead, the WNBA went full WWE, where everyone thinks they're Stone Cold Steve Austin and the crowd's supposed to cheer when the rookie gets powerbombed. And don't dress this up as tough physical play. This is sabotage wearing a jersey. Women's sports finally landed a star with mass appeal, charisma, skill, a built-in fan base, and the first instinct was to treat her like a tackling dummy at training camp. That's not just petty, that's professional malpractice. At this point, The only people profiting from the madness are chiropractors and YouTubers doing slow-mo foul breakdowns. The league isn't building its future. It's tripping it, shoving it to the hardwood, and handing the ref a blindfold. The league should be ashamed, not just because it's letting this happen, but because it's pretending like it isn't.
This girl is a superstar. I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her on campus at Iowa a few months ago. I went there for my man Mark Shapiro, and I had a blast. She and I were on a panel together. She's a wonderful, wonderful young lady, incredibly poised, but this woman is the nation's leading scorer, averaging 31.5 points per game, shooting 40% from threes.
Stephen A. is mad because he knows what this could have been. He's seen leagues rise and fall on the backs of stars. And right now, he's watching a league throw its golden goose into a wood chipper because they're mad she didn't ask permission to be great. So yeah, he wants witnesses, he wants receipts, he wants the Department of Justice, Nancy Grace, and maybe Judge Judy to step in and say, what in the actual hell is going on here? Because Caitlin Clark is being mugged mid-game and someone's yelling flop. And if you can watch that happen and say, she's overhyped, congratulations, you're part of the problem. You're not just playing basketball anymore. You're performing a live stunt show for a league that doesn't know whether to thank you or tackle you into next week. And one day, when the documentary gets made and the league is begging for relevance, someone's going to look back and say, maybe we should have protected the only person people were actually watching. But hey, who needs ratings when you've got vendettas, right?
Treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache. That approach could turn into a legal liability for the WNBA. Since she joined the league last year, Ms. Clark's impact has been seismic. Merchandise sales soared 601%. Indiana Fever viewership jumped 170%. The team's value tripled. League Pass subscriptions climbed 366%.
But just when you thought it couldn't get dumber, oh, it absolutely does. Because now we've got pundits, players, and people who haven't touched a basketball since the 8th grade chiming in like they're all WNBA philosophers. Suddenly, everybody's an expert on earning your place, as if Caitlin Clark needs to wash jerseys, carry luggage, and solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded just to be treated like a human being on the court. The welcome to the league rhetoric is being tossed around like a worn-out cliche from 1983. Oh, she's got to pay her dues. What is this, the mob? Which, frankly, if the WNBA keeps self-sabotaging like this, everyone's salary might be deducted. Let's talk about the fans, especially the ones pretending this is just basketball. Really? Is this what you call basketball? The kind where elbows are flying like a Jackie Chan movie, players are hitting the hardwood harder than LeBron in Oscar season, and somehow the victim is the one getting penalized? You can't gaslight people in 4K. We've seen the footage. Caitlin Clark is out there playing dodgeball with people's limbs and still being told she's soft. If that's soft, then porcelain dolls have been getting unfairly labeled all this time.
Kathy Engelbert, where are you? Where are you, Kathy? Nowhere to be found. You are quiet. Quiet as a mouse. It done got real spooky, I know. Nightmare on Elm Street is what I'm talking about. Freddy Krueger style. It's wild. See, my problem with you is you don't protect.
Speaking of better, where's the leadership? Where's the WNBA commissioner? Where's the statement saying, we don't condone this nonsense, and yes, we value our star players being conscious and upright after games? You know, the bare minimum. Instead, crickets. Just crickets and TikToks from salty players mumbling about respect. At this point, respect is just code for, you're not allowed to be more popular than me. And let's be real, if Caitlin Clark were anyone else taking 17-plus flagrant fouls in a single season, we'd be knee-deep in lawsuits, with a 60-minute special, 3 documentaries, and a candlelight vigil. How dare he defend the single biggest reason the league is even on national TV? How dare he suggest that maybe, just maybe, punching your biggest star in the ribs isn't a genius marketing plan? You know what's not growing the game? Elbows to the jugular, concussions in prime time, watching a future Hall of Famer get tackled mid-layup, and then still being cast as the villain. If this is growing the game, then congratulations. You're fertilizing it with your own credibility.
In Caitlin Clark's world, which is so unfortunate, I feel sorry for Caitlin Clark because she's a pawn of this whole thing, and I think Caitlin Clark needs to speak up. I'm tired of her being silent. I know she's trying to be like this Gandhi figure, try to be like MLK, passive aggressiveness, but peaceful. I get it, but
The WNBA isn't just gatekeeping anymore. It's barricading the door with a crowbar while pelting the crowd with rocks. Oh, you want to support women's sports? Great, but not her. She's too popular, too different, too white, too liked, too successful. Here's the ugly truth. If this league doesn't get its act together, if they keep green-lighting this clown show, they're going to lose Caitlin Clark. She'll be gone, overseas, retired early, injured, burned out. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about healthy competition. This is pride masquerading as respect. Pride that's more worried about who gets the spotlight than whether the league survives long enough to have one. Right now, the only thing the WNBA is earning is a reputation for cannibalizing its own. And if Stephen A. Smith wants to play prosecutor, maybe he should, because someone needs to answer for how a golden opportunity turned into a demolition derby. The evidence? On tape. The motive? Obvious. The damage? Potentially permanent. Verdict? Guilty, with no chance of appeal. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.